The Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame recognizes Ohio's distinguished men and women who have worn the uniform of our nation's armed forces and then continue to contribute to their communities, state, and nation through exceptional acts of volunteerism, advocacy, professional distinction, public service, and philanthropy. The Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame. Nominate a veteran today.
Adam Carr, Ohio Army National Guard, Ohio Air National Guard, United States Army Active Duty, Global War on Terrorism. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and I grew up in Huber Heights. Wayne is a big feeder school to Ohio State. Went to school with Will Allen, who ended up, making the hit on McGahee in the national championship, and went to school with a bunch of those guys. So my dad worked just outside of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He had a barbershop there, so I was really kind of antiquated with folks at Wright-Patterson and ended up working there as a teenager. Ultimately, like most of the nation, I was very inspired when the towers fell. I can remember I was a senior in high school and I remember seeing that on TV and thinking, well, I know that I don't have the money to go to college, and I also know that I'm inspired by all the different folks around our country getting in line at the recruiting office and wanting to serve. And so I figured that's the best way for me to both serve my country and also pay for myself to go through schooling. Like many folks, I had a friend that was in an Army unit. The 371st HHC was the unit out of Kettering, Ohio. Former Congressman Stivers at the time was the lieutenant colonel. He was the commander at that unit. And he said, hey, you should come check us out. This is a great National Guard unit. And, we haven't deployed since Vietnam. And, I don't know if we're going to deploy or not, but probably not. So I signed up and joined as a communication specialist, 31U to be exact. And, of course, we got orders on deployment, I think, within the first 6 months. And the rest is history. Ultimately, when I graduated at Ohio State, I felt a calling to go active duty in the Army and wanted to become a Green Beret. Was deployed all over the world. Operation Enduring Freedom Philippines is one of the deployments I served on, and then twice to Operation Enduring Freedom Afghanistan. We weren't trying to conquer anybody, we were trying to bring the country together as a whole. And that task, at least in our area, we were able to really destabilize a lot of the IED operations that were going on, a lot of the Taliban-led operations to target our troops and to target innocent civilians and drive them out of that area. So I got out in 2014, and for the first 6 months it was pretty gravy. I was used to being deployed 10 months every year. In Green Berets, we were in a very high operational tempo unit, probably one of the highest in the military, where we were gone frequently. We'd come home, hug our families, say hello, and a week later we were gone. So going from that to being home 24/7 can often be a challenge, and so that was an adjustment for me. And also just finding purpose and meaning outside of my job in the military, where I was, working in and out of embassies, I was living out of mud huts, I was kicking in doors, I was jumping out of planes, I was doing all of these cool things that, you maybe read about in books or watch on movies. That was real life every day. So to go from that to, just civilian life was a real challenge, and I had to have a real gut check about 6 months in. One of the things that was really impacting, in the worst kind of way, my community was suicide and mental health, and it's something that has been at the forefront of, challenges in the veteran community for a very long time. And I made a video that ended up going viral, and I got connected with an organization that was local here called Save a Warrior, and I saw something I couldn't look away from, and I said, hey, I want to help you guys out, I want to be a part of this in any way I can, and pretty much wore every hat that organization had, all the way up to the executive director. Over the last 6.5 years, that organization, along with the help of some incredible people, has really flourished. We built our first National Center of Excellence for Post-Traumatic Stress right here in Ohio, and raised tens of millions of dollars with some really incredible people. So it fledged here in the Midwest, and we've got a lot of support behind us. We've served over 2,000 people that have come to Save a Warrior essentially with a gun to their head and said, hey, I have no place else to go. I've tried every approach. I've tried these therapeutic approaches, clinical approaches. Some of them are on tour, and they've tried other retreat programs and stuff like that, and they ended up finding a real solution in our program. So it's been very powerful. It makes me feel completely honored and humbled to be amongst some incredible people. I'm honored and humbled, and it's not anything I was seeking, but really proud to be a part of this group.
Selection and induction into the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame is a great honor. Nominate a veteran today.